that? Yay! We getting it, boy.
What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay.
Your baller back again. Smells like football season.
Yo.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What up, 49er faithful? Welcome to 49ers Straight Out of the Bay. There is only two of us tonight, but it is what it is, and it is good. You know, we will be missing Bay Area Baller. Amin the Dream might be stopping in, but hey, man, we are here. We are ready to talk 49er football. I am going to start it off with my man, Jay in the Bay. How are you doing?
What's good? How is everyone doing tonight? Hopefully everyone had an excellent Christmas. Shout out to everyone in the chat. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're here rocking out with Straight Out of the Bay. We appreciate it. How was your Christmas, Celts Chronicles? How are you doing, man? How was your weekend?
Man, it was amazing. It was amazing to say the least. Yeah, man, my kids, they got everything they wanted. One of the major gifts my youngest wanted was a cat, and she got it, man. You know, she was juiced up. It brought her to tears. The cat is lightweight taking over my little studio room, and it's up in here. It sleeps on the chair that I sit in. So, you know, we had a little process of getting it used to some of the dogs and all that. But hey, man, it was great. How was your Christmas, man?
Hey, it was excellent, man. Always a great time to spend with family. My 9-year-old and almost 2-year-old, they got everything they wanted and more. We were so blessed to have so many gifts and grandparents from both sides giving gifts. So man, it was wonderful. Always a great time to spend time with family, and looking forward to the new year, man. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely, man. Hey, that's gonna be another. You know, we got blessed to watch football on, on Christmas Eve, and then we get blessed to watch another game versus the Raiders on New Year's Day. So, hey, man, it's just cool. I'm gonna go ahead and you could join me. Just say what's up to a few people in the chat. We got Eric in the house says, "Hey, Kelts." He says, "What's good, Jay?" What's good? And then we also got Payo time, man. Always showing support, man.
Appreciate
I know it's tough sledding for your Rams right now, but at the same time, good stuff for coming through and showing some love, my man. Real talk. He
Absolutely.
says, "Oh man, the Straight Out of the Bay crew coming on. Hit that like. Let's get
What's
it.
good, Payo?
We got David in the house. What's good? Yee.
What's good?
Let's get it. Who else? We got 49ers, Chanel in the house. What's good? Faithful, East Coast Red and Gold podcast. What's up, Faithful?
What's
What's up?
good?
How's it going? We got Nietzsche in the house. What's good, Rich and Jay? Let's go.
What's
Let's
good?
go. We are about to get into these topics. We got Scott in the house. We got George in the house. Merry Christmas gift was our Niners got a win. Hey, that was
Absolutely.
definitely a stocking stuffer right there for us, older folks. Real talk, real talk. Who we got? We got Roberto in the house. Yes, sir, let's go, let's go. All
Bang,
right, man.
bang.
We about to get into some topics, man. We're about to go over this last game and get into the next game coming up, man. So I'm gonna start it off with who gets your game ball on offense and defense versus the Commanders. There's quite a few people. I'll let you go first and take it off, man. Who gets your game balls, Jay?
Man, it's gotta be, the people's tight end. It's gotta be George Kittle. You know, George Kittle had an unbelievable game. What's good, Amin the Dream? How you doing tonight, man?
What's up? I'm here. I'm not. I'm late, but I'm here. I woke up from a nap, but I'm here. I'm here now. Okay.
Oh, let's
Hey,
go.
appreciate you coming through, Amin the Dream. But yeah, George Kittle, man, an incredible game. It's funny. I know people have been asking, has Brock Purdy elevated this offense? Has Brock Purdy unleashed George Kittle? I was looking at George Kittle's stats. and he didn't really have a 2-game stretch back to back like this with Jimmy G. Obviously George Kittle was receiving the ball from 3 different quarterbacks. You have to add that into account, but his last 2 games, like 10 catches, over 200 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, that's the George Kittle we know. That's the George Kittle from 2018 and 2019 when he had back-to-back 1,000-yard receiving season. So, where has this George Kittle been? I think it's safe to say that I don't know if Purdy is targeting Kittle more, or Purdy has just, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing exactly, because I feel like Jimmy G was getting the ball to Kittle. But it just seems like Kittle's plays are more explosive for whatever reason. Maybe Purdy's putting the ball in better position for Kittle to get that yak. Maybe that's what it is. But man, for Kittle to step up, for Purdy to deliver the ball to Kittle, and we needed someone to step up, for Deebo Samuel being out. And obviously CMC is great, but we know the running game is keyed on. So we needed someone else to step up. And George Kittle is that vet in this offense that knows the system, that has the respect of every guy in the locker room. And to see him go out and perform, I mean, it's the George Kittle we know and love. So for my offensive game ball, you want me to get my defensive as well, or we'll come back to that?
We could come back to it.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So that's the first question, my man, Amin. Hopefully you had, you know what? First off, how was your Christmas, Amin?
It was good. It was good. I slept. I was tired. I slept again right now. I woke up from a nap right now, so I'm a little bit tired. Actually, been playing a lot of basketball, shooting hoops outside, getting better. We have winter break now, so putting up some shots. So trying to get better before we got a game right after winter break. So trying to get better and put up some shots. Maybe coach will give me some more minutes. That's what that's what we want. That's what we want. But we've been putting in some work over the winter break last couple of days.
Nice. Hey, you had mentioned you went to Yosemite. How was that, man?
Fun fact. I was in the middle of a stream. The night after I finished my stream, we get an email that the place that we were supposed to stay at Yosemite had this huge COVID outbreak.
Oh,
And right at the bottom of the email, they said you're coming to school the next 3 days, and I was like, okay, great. Like, the place that we were supposed to stay got COVID, and then you like kind of like disclose in the bottom of the email that we still have to come to school the next 3 days.
ouch.
Yippee! But on the bright side, right, as a Niners fan, I got to stay home and watch the Niners game, and we
That's
clinched
true.
NFC West. So it wasn't too bad compared to everybody else who's not a Niners fan. They're all like, no, and I'm like, cool. Like, I get to watch the Niners game and sit on the couch and watch the Niners game in the warmth of my own house. Great. Like, it ain't all bad.
No, absolutely.
Hey, well, man, hey, as long as you don't got it, COVID is tough. The flu's going around pretty tough. Hey, prayers to Baller right now. His family came down, pretty tough with it. I heard, and I apologize if I'm putting it out there and I shouldn't be, but yeah, man, prayers, man. So, who gets your game ball? Amin, my man. Who gets your game ball? We'll start it off with offense.
I mean, the obvious answer would be George Kittle, right? And you look at with Brock Purdy, especially in the last 2 games in particular. I mean, George Kittle had last week he had a 93-yard game and had a touchdown. This week he has 2 touchdowns and a 100-yard game. Obviously, that deep pass from Brock Purdy, and he connected with George Kittle for a 40-yard pass for a touchdown. So obviously, you've seen that, with Brock Purdy as under center, you've seen Kittle getting more involved. And I think part of the reason why is, yes, Jimmy Garoppolo did get the ball to George Kittle, but you look at a lot of the times where a lot of younger quarterbacks or backup quarterbacks, their safety blanket is their tight end. And you look at the years that George Kittle has had his best seasons, 2018, 2020, not 2020 as much as 2018, right? 2020, the years that he's had over 1,000 yards. Who was his quarterback primarily? It was Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard, and now you're looking the same thing happening with Brock Purdy. It's not that Jimmy doesn't get the ball to George Kittle. It's Jimmy Garoppolo did get the ball to George Kittle. It just, Brock Purdy obviously is, with the yards after catch George Kittle's getting now on some of the passes, the play action, that you've seen with Purdy so far. And Purdy's definitely, getting the ball at a more higher rate in games and getting, throwing it to Kittle more than Jimmy Garoppolo. So I would say the easy game ball for this game in particular would be George Kittle, because George Kittle had that nice catch, had that yard after catch touchdown on play action from Brock Purdy. So if I had to give a game ball offensively, it would definitely be George Kittle.
Absolutely, absolutely, man.
Hey,
He's
Kels,
been
I just want to point it out. I just noticed a new mic. Hey.
I appreciate that, man. Yes, sir. Hey, just another Christmas gift. I think almost everything you see, lightweight, and even the laptop, man, everything is gifts, and so I'm blessed for sure in that way. But I appreciate you noticing, man. Yeah, man. So I think, obviously Kittle, man, there's so much to it. I feel like without Debo being there, I think that helps Kittle getting the ball. I'm pretty sure both of these games Debo was not there. And then, like Jay was talking about, Purdy with the timing, rolling out of the pocket. I'll give one example. So I'll give my game ball to Purdy. And one of the biggest reasons why, I think it was the first play on offense, the very first play. And for a rookie to turn his back to the defense and then look up and there's a dude literally right in his face. He didn't fold, he didn't fall, he didn't panic. That man, what did he do? He just dropped his arm angle down, threw a little sidearm, boom, right to AU. Like, I mean, just that little thing will never show up on what is it called? Next gen
Next gen
stats.
stats, yeah.
Yeah, it'll never show up on next gen stats. It'll never show up on the stat book. But that right there, just that little detail alone is huge. It was a first down. It kept those are the kind of things that keep it rolling. He did it versus the Bucks. Just time and time again, you see this man have pressure in his face and he's delivering, or he knows how to avoid it. And for a rookie to be doing those things, you can't teach, or I guess you could teach those things, but it's really hard for a quarterback to not be afraid in that moment and not get skittish in that moment. And hey, Purdy is balling, man. It's awesome to see. And yeah, I'm going to give it to Purdy, and then the laser to Kittle. It was really supposed to go to or not Ayuk. It was supposed to go to Ray Ray. And I also have a topic about Kittle not listening to Coach Shanahan, because Shanahan said, "Hey, you're supposed to hit that crosser." Kittle came to the press conference and said, I didn't listen to him. He told us, even if you're going to be covered, you still need to do that to leave it open for Ray Ray. And Kittle said, "Hey, I pulled a Grinch on it. I went and took it. I went to the open space. I got it." But what a beautiful pass by Purdy, man. And um, this kid is the real deal. He shows intangibles that just to me looks like he can continuously be consistent with what he's doing and then just elevate it. So I'm gonna go Purdy. Great picks with you guys with Kittle.
That, that
And
that's
go
that's
ahead,
a
my man.
great point that you mentioned, Celts, because I was saying it after the game, after that throw, and I was like, wow, because those are drive extenders, right? You look at a lot of quarterbacks, and I'm not trying to, bash Jimmy Garoppolo anyway, but a lot of the times in that situation, Jimmy Garoppolo, might have taken a sack on that play. But you look at for a young quarterback like Brock Purdy to come in, and on the first play of the game, you see a defender right in your face, and to change your arm angle, and find Brandon Ayuk and throw it accurately sidearmed, right? Or whatever, the arm slot that you're throwing it at, and throw it to Brandon Ayuk for 9 yards. Those are drive extenders. Those are and that's huge. Little things like that from Brock Purdy, where you're like you don't you're accurate. You can get the ball out on time. The decisiveness, right? That's the decisiveness on
He's
that play.
he's
Insane.
done it. He's done
He's
it, I think, in every single game.
he's
Like,
done it in every single game.
because then even what you're saying now, I'm remembering in versus Seattle, it was the opposite kind of where dudes so much on top of him, he had to come way over top. You know what I'm saying? And he hits Ray Ray. So I mean, this man, when you can start doing arm slots like that, one of the best that does it is Pat Mahomes. And it's just real. Whether Purdy is a smaller version, not even with the comparisons, but the best quarterbacks in the league right now can do those things. They can maneuver, get out of the pocket, hit different arm slots, angles. It's super cool to see a guy who was picked 262 doing this. So that's my big thing. It's like it's like some people are we overhyping this or are we underhyping this? And I'm sure we're going to be talking a lot more about Purdy. And but first, let's continue on with the defensive game balls. We're going to start it off with Jay, Amin, and then I'll take it after that.
Hey, absolutely. Got to give another shout out to everyone that's in the chat, whether you're watching on Jay in the Bay, Amin the Dream, or Celts, or Straight Out of the Bay YouTube channel. Just appreciate you guys for rocking with us tonight, and we will be looking at those comments. But for me, on the defensive side of the ball, there's an obvious choice, but I'm gonna go with someone else. I'm gonna go with Jordan Willis. I know he's not a popular guy on the 49ers. I know he's a guy that you're probably not going to buy your son or your daughter his jersey or whatever, but he's just a guy who performs when the 49ers ask him to. We all remember the playoff game last year where he had the block punt. This year he was I think he was on a short-term IR with the injury. And I just wanted to give him a shout out, mention to him he had a sack, but unfortunately it was called back due to a defensive hold by Mooney Ward. But I just like to see Jordan Willis. He had a few quarterback hurries. He was really in there getting after the quarterback Taylor Heineke, and he played 38% of the snaps. That was his most snaps he's played in about a month. And I was kind of surprised he played that many snaps. I know Samson and him were kind of switching off at that defensive end opposite of Nick Bosa. But I like what I saw from Jordan Willis. He was getting pressure. He was getting after Heineke. And obviously, outside of Bosa, it's all about the collaborative effort from, Omen Wayhue, from Kinlaw, from Willis, Akeem Spence. The list of names go on. But my defensive game ball, and Willis had the fumble recovery as well. So, that was the icing on the cake. But just want to give a shout out to Jordan Willis, see what you're doing. And, that's my game ball, defensive game ball, Jordan Willis.
If there's a Willis, there's a way. Oh, who you got? Amin, who stood out to you? Who gets your game ball on defense, my man?
Man, this is a little bit of a tough one, right? Because obviously the defense didn't have their best performance of the season. The regulars kind of struggled in this game. Obviously, Hufanga kind of struggled in this game. So the regulars that we've been giving game balls out to this whole entire year, kind of had a down game. But the obvious one would be Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa, defensive player of the year, should be defensive player of the year. But really, Nick Bosa made plays when it mattered, had some, key sacks on Taylor Heineke. I think Nick Bosa in the last 4 games has 6 sacks, 12 QB hits, one forced fumble. Nick Bosa continues to dominate, game after game after game. When the Niners, need something defensively, it's almost like Nick Bosa, when the Niners need something, Nick Bosa makes things happen. So defensive player of the game, even though the defense did have a little bit of a down game this week, I would have to give it to Nick Bosa.
Yeah, man. I hear it, man. Bosa is a straight up beast, man, and it's super cool to see someone like Chase Young on the sideline, just giving him high praise and talking about, oh man, he's got the short legs, man. He can do this and do that, and he's just really just sitting there admiring him and studying him, and looking like just showing love and taking notes at the same time. So that was super cool to see. Jay in the Bay took my man Jordan Willis. Who Shanahan called him the silent assassin. It's just I think back to last year, him blocking that punt, man. That was one of the best moments of last year. Bless you, my man.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, man. So Jordan Willis, when I went back and watched it a couple times, I just seen this whole defense. Like, yeah, we got burnt on a couple. There was a coverage with Hufanga. It looked like zone in the red zone. We're not going to ever be perfect. And I know we can sit here and say, here, let me stay on topic. But anyways, yeah, I twisted myself up right there. That was that ADHD coming through once again. Man, there's so much to this dang 49er team, man. It get my head spinning. I want to talk about it all at once. But Jordan Willis, just this whole 49er defense, when I went back and watched it, they're just all swarming. They're all swarming. We gave up some long third downs, but there were some other third downs, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6, and whatnot, where you see 5 guys on one dude and pushing him back. There was one specific play where it's like, I think it was Greenlaw got there, and then I think Ward got there, and then you see even Bosa pushing his helmet back, and it just the whole team, just it's we've seen it time and time again where these guys, there's multiple dogs on this defense. They are one of the they're getting in all-time territory with the 2000 Ravens, just statistically and the eye test, not just the stats, but they are doing phenomenal. I wanted to give it to Jordan Willis, so I'm going to just keep it to Jordan Willis. Bosa, obvious, you know, um, obviously should get recognition. I'm trying to think if there's anything else
Fred
that
Warner. Fred Warner
Fred
led the
Warner,
team in tackles, and
Fred
I think
Warner, all man,
when you think of this defense, obviously you think of Bosa, you think of Mooney Ward, but of course you got to think about Fred Warner, who and as you mentioned, I like how this team they gang tackle. Like usually there's never just one 49er defender around the ball carrier. It's always a collaborative effort, 3, 4, 5 guys around, and Fred Warner is in on a lot of those collisions. Whether sometimes you may not bring the guy down, kind of like Huff. Like sometimes he won't bring the guy down, but he'll at least slow his momentum, and other guys will run and gang tackle. So, yeah, man, just I would say Fred Warner as well. He was a beast as usual this year.
absolutely. Man, you know what? Let's talk about Brock Purdy just a little bit more, man. I just wanted to, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of us have seen it, but Brock Purdy is the only rookie to ever start 3-0 in 49ers franchise history. This is a little bit of do you know, just in case if anybody doesn't, man. Brock Purdy is the second player in NFL history, with Kurt Warner to go 3-0 with 2 touchdown passes to start his career. I mean, he's just uh tapping into elite company, man. I mean, Brock Purdy becomes the second quarterback in NFL history to have 2 touchdowns and a quarterback rating of 100 or more in his first 3 starts, and that's with Dan Marino. When you start getting into the territory of one of 2 in NFL history as pick number 262, like, what the heck is going on here? Like for real, like like is it, what year is it? Is this real life? Like, I mean, it's just if he has a couple more games like he's been having, which it looks like he can replicate, he's going to be one of one, you know, um, pretty soon here, hey, if, of course there's going to come a time where he's going to lose a game. There's going to come a time where he's going to not fall to earth because it looks like he could duplicate what he's doing, but not be as on. But hey, there could be a point in time where he throws 3, maybe 4 touchdowns and does have a big breakout game. But for what he's doing, I think it's absolutely amazing. And I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on, some of these kind of milestones or stats, or, how do you guys feel about that?
I think it's like you said, it's incredible to watch. It's incredible that he is the last pick of the draft. He's no longer Mr. Irrelevant in my eyes. He's Mr. Relevant for sure, and I'm sure a lot of Niner fans can feel that way. But if you look at the history of Mr. Irrelevant players, they usually don't even make the active roster, let
Real
alone
talk.
start at quarterback for a Super Bowl, possible Super Bowl team, or at least a team that wants to go deep in the playoffs. So it's an amazing story. It's this is a story made for Hollywood. Like it's crazy to think that this guy. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't even think he would make the roster coming out of training camp. And I know there were some. I know Greg Papa and Kruger. I know they were saying that Purdy was the best quarterback in camp, but the Niners had paid $2 million to Sudfeld. There's no way they're going to cut Sudfeld. That's just like throwing money in the fire. They're not going to do that. And this kid makes the active roster, and obviously he's impressed. He impressed Kyle Shanahan. He's impressed our quarterback coach. For some reason, his name is escaping me right now, but Greasy, exactly. But can he keep it up? That's going to be the big question. As defensive coordinators, are looking at his tape, looking at his tendencies, can he keep it up? And so far he has. Even when the pressure is on him, he's still able to either evade the pressure He's able to allow his receivers to, have more time to get open. And Jimmy could do that, right? But not to the level that Purdy can. And he's got poise. He doesn't look like a rookie. Like, real talk. Like, he does
Not
not
at
look
all.
like a rookie out there. Clearly, 4 years starting at Iowa State has done this man wonders. And I'm just happy. I'm just happy along for the ride. And it's always exciting seeing him play and the rest of the Niners. And you could tell that his teammates respect him. You can tell that Shanahan trusts him. And hey, I'm just along for the ride. Looking forward to next week, man.
Let's get it. Let's go. Hey, how you feeling about some of these milestones that Purdy is putting on?
I'm obviously happy for Brock Purdy. Obviously this season, obviously with Trey Lance going down and Jimmy Garoppolo going down, my excitement level went a little bit low after Trey Lance went down, and then Jimmy Garoppolo starts playing well. We start winning games, and then Jimmy gets hurt. And I'll be honest, right after that, after Jimmy went down against the Dolphins, I was like, it's over, it's over. And then Brock Purdy comes down and wins that game. He wins another one the week after. He wins another one the week after. I mean, Brock Purdy is brought a little bit of life back into this fan base, and it's fun to watch Niners games and watch Brock Purdy go at it, because one thing about Brock Purdy is he'll do enough and he'll do a little bit more. And what I mean by that is Brock Purdy will make good decisions, will be accurate with throwing the football, will get the ball to his playmakers, and then Brock Purdy will have that one deep pass or that one spectacular throw where you're like, all right, like, whoa, Brock Purdy, like, we don't really get to see that often, right? Like, you look at that throw, obviously the first play of the game, even though it's nothing major, little things like that, or that throw to Kittle, or the throw you saw in Tampa Bay again, to CMC or to IU, little things like that, where you're like, it's obviously common around the league to throw a deep ball, or to have big plays, or to have a quarterback make a sidearm pass, but we don't really get to see that with our Niners quarterbacks. But to see Brock Purdy come in and do that, and not make too many crucial mistakes and make too many boneheaded plays, and to come in, get the ball to his playmakers, make smart decisions, find the open guy, be accurate with the throw. Little things like that from Purdy is just so enjoyable to watch. The product has obviously been great. Now I will say this though, Brock Purdy has been good, but I think we also have to start appreciating Christian McCaffrey and what he's done for this offense so far. Because you look at the
Absolutely.
addition of Christian McCaffrey, the Niners are 8-0, and the one loss that they've had was against the Chiefs, and that was the first 2 days that obviously Christian McCaffrey got there, didn't get a full grasp of the playbook, and you lost to the Chiefs. Outside of that, once he's had a week to fully learn the playbook and everything, we haven't lost the game. And you look at just how many points the Niners were scoring offensively before Christian McCaffrey got there was 20 points per game. And now with Christian McCaffrey, you're averaging 28 points per game. And now with Brock Purdy, the Niners are averaging 31.5 points per game with Brock Purdy under center. Right. So Christian McCaffrey's had a huge role in, the way that the Niners are winning football games, the way that they've been looking better offensively. And Purdy also, especially with Christian McCaffrey. I mean, Christian McCaffrey is obviously getting a touchdown every single game at this point now. Even if he didn't put 100 yards, he's pretty much getting a touchdown every single game. But now with Brock Purdy not making too many mistakes, and hitting, like the things that we've been saying this whole entire stream about Purdy, making accurate decisions, accurate with the football, making good decisions. Now the question mark will be, Purdy, can you do it in the playoffs? Because so far it's been great. We've seen that he could do it consistently, for the last 4 or 5 games now, or 3 or 4 games. We've seen it that he can do it. Now, when it comes to playoff time, when the pressure is on and you're playing, playoff caliber teams, can you continue to do this in the playoffs? Because the playoffs are a completely different level, right? The pressure level, you win or you go home, or you're out of the, out of the dance. So now the question mark will remain, can you do it in the playoffs? We've seen, Jimmy Garoppolo have stretches, like last year, like at the end of the regular season, where he's, had good games, and then come playoff time, Jimmy Garoppolo's a dumpster fire, and he'll make, boneheaded plays, and the Niners defense will have to bail him out, or different things will have to happen in order for us to win the game. Now with Brock Purdy, is can you go in and go into the playoffs, or if you're not home, or you're playing away, can you go into the playoffs and win a playoff game, and can you make good decisions and go in and win a playoff game? And that's still the question that'll be answered in a couple of weeks. But that's the question mark still for me, is can Purdy do it in the playoffs? But for the most part, so far, Purdy has been great. And it's a phenomenal story. Obviously, not only this year, but even last year with the Niners, right? The Niners started slow last year, and you bounced back, and you win. You're like 7 out of your last 9 games, and the Niners sneak into the playoffs, even though they were really down bad in the first half of the season. And this year, you're doing the same exact thing. You traded for Christian McCaffrey, and you're doing with Mr. Irrelevant. You're doing the same exact thing with Mr. Irrelevant, and you haven't lost the game. So the last 2 seasons, I mean, the second half has been a Cinderella story. And last year, you had this magical playoff run. You went into Lambeau. You beat the Packers. So the last 2 seasons, the Niners have had a Cinderella type story, and it continues even on to this year. But Purdy, we'll see what he does in the playoffs. But for the most part, Purdy has been really good, really, really good.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, man. Hey, one of the things that I took away from everything you said compared to last year was, hey, man, to continue to like not lose a step without Debo when Debo was basically our offense last year. Like when we hit that 7-2 run, besides the defensive line, the whole entire defensive line stepping up, it was the Debo show. Now we have CMC stepping up, Brock Purdy stepping up. Ayuk is quietly having a phenomenal year. Kittle stepping. It's just these are the things you're going to need to win a Super Bowl. If it's Debo, hey, that's cool. Hey, he showed all the heart in the world. It was beautiful last year, but you're going to need to be hitting on all cylinders, and that's what we're doing right now. And I want to give big, big, big props to Kyle Shanahan, man. I want to talk about Shanahan. We need to talk about Shanahan because going back to last year, I did a little research over the past few years, and Shanahan is on the verge of doing something that he's never done in his career, and that's win 9 straight games. I did a little more research, and I think the record is 18 straight in 1989. The 49ers won from November all the way to the next November. They won the Super Bowl that year, won out through the playoffs, won in the beginning of the year. So the record is 18. But I think if we win 9 straight, that'd be Shanahan's most ever games he's won. We had 8 in 2019, I think, to start that season. But, he's about to accomplish something that he's never done. And then on top of it, it would be, I believe, fourth. It would be the fourth best in franchise history to get 9 straight games. That's amazing. When we start talking about we're getting into categories with Brock Purdy that's never been heard of before. Nick Bosa's on the verge of breaking a record. These are the things that typically happen when you're a Super Bowl caliber and winning team. It sucks to kind of want to have to pump the brakes and talk about, winning Super Bowls as if we already had or something. But man, I'm telling you, if there were ever signs to point it in that direction, everything is looking phenomenal right now. Great job, Shanahan. I don't know if it's look, Brock is doing amazing, but Shanahan is as well. It takes 2 to tango. And when it's the head coach and the quarterback, when they are on the same page, we've seen it time and time again throughout the history of the NFL. When those two guys are linked up, good things happen. Shanahan is putting trust in Brock. Brock is delivering what Shanahan's putting on his plate. And, props to Shanahan. I was one of the guys earlier in the year that was like, hey, man, this is ridiculous. What the heck are you doing? What's up with your philosophy? It's been 6 years. I've had enough of this crap. And now I'm praising the man because he's doing phenomenal, just like he did last year. He proved that he could pull this team together. And one of the favorite things, I liked what he said. I put it up on Twitter. Maybe not word for word, but he said, hey, man, he said this after our last win in the locker room. We got some special people, and we're going to continue to do special things. And I know it just, it might not mean a lot to somebody else, but when I hear just, hey, we got special people and we will continue to do special things, it gets me fired up. I know those guys take every word and are careful with every word, especially a Shanahan or a Bosa. These guys are professionals. They know what it is. They know what's up. So props to Shanahan, being the leader and stepping up. And especially one of my biggest knocks on him was putting trust in your quarterback. You have to. And maybe it was more had to do with Garoppolo, man. Maybe it really did. Maybe, Garoppolo was skittish in the pocket. Trey still needs to smooth out, Of course, Trey needs to smooth some stuff out because of his limited opportunities. Brock feels like that really good middle, steady Eddie type of dude, and it's just great to see. What are your guys' thoughts about Shanahan so far on this late, run that we're on? I'll start with you, Jay.
Hey, Shanahan has been impressive. I think he could arguably be coach of the year when you look at, your third string quarterback. And the team hasn't really taken a step back. The team is actually playing better. That's what it seems. That usually doesn't happen with a third string quarterback. Also, Shanahan had a lot of coaching turnover this past offseason. I think he had 14 new coaches come in. So it seems like he can obviously build a coaching tree. We've seen that in the past. Saleh, McDaniels, they got head coaching jobs. DeMeco Ryans will probably be next. So he can build a coaching tree. Props to him for keeping this team together when we were 3-4. And, some fans were saying fire Shanahan and all this. So, props to him for keeping the team together, keeping the players believing in, his philosophy. And, hey, he has a hand in developing Brock Purdy. And I think, there have been some murmurs out there that he can't develop a quarterback. Well, I mean, what do you say about Brock Purdy? Obviously he has a hand in that. Brian Greasy has a hand in that as well. But props to him. Also addressing the special teams unit, adding a new coordinator, and also adding players, to the special teams unit, actually spending money in that field. And obviously that's worked out. I think that's another thing. Why we see this team playing really well is the special teams unit. Last year it was just like, hey, don't lose the game for us. And this year they're actually, making good plays, putting this offense in good field position, and also, allowing the defense to like start at the 20 or the 25 and not close to midfield. So I think all of that helps. And absolutely, you got to give credit to Kyle Shanahan, no doubt.
Yep, you got to give Shanahan his flowers, right? And obviously, a lot of people were doubting him early on in the season. And, there's this whole conversation early on about should the Niners, get rid of Shanahan and hire DeMeco as the head coach of the 49ers. That was this whole discussion early on of the season. Niners were 3-4. Everybody started posing the question: should we hire DeMeco if he's a head coaching candidate, which most likely he will be, especially after the Broncos fired their coach earlier this morning. But you got to give Shanahan his flowers and his props and his credit. Credit to Shanahan, because this team last two seasons to not start off the best early on, and even if you look at this season, to lose tough games against the Broncos and lose tough game against the Falcons, and for you to rally your troops and reel them back in, and for you to go on an 8-game win streak, and to bounce around so many quarterbacks that Shanahan has had this year, right, with Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy, and to continue to be able to win games. And it's not smooth. A lot of the times, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, the transition from sometimes quarterbacks aren't the smoothest, especially a backup quarterback, when you don't really have a promising veteran backup quarterback, or a prominent veteran quarterback. But for Shanahan to first have Trey Lance and deal with his injury, and he definitely got a lot of flack from the fan base for that, and to have Jimmy Garoppolo come in and win games with Jimmy Garoppolo, and then when Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt, to win 4 games in a row with Brock Purdy. Shanahan deserves a lot of credit. Shanahan really does deserve a lot of credit for having this team bounce back, and they've definitely done that in a major way. And I think Shanahan deserves a lot of props for that, especially with him being able to do that, which whatever quarterback played that Pacific Sunday, due to even whatever the reason might have been, for him to continue to win football games despite who's under center. Credit to Shanahan.
Hey, in a large portion of the year, we were without Kinlaw and Eric Armstead and Mosley, Verrett. Like, there's been a ton of adversity. Mitchell. The list could go on and on and on. Bosa had it, we could, break all of it down. So, but one thing I will say is I think we're going to get it done. So I say this isn't my belief, but this is just what I'm saying, that I still want to see Shanahan get it done in the most crucial moment when it matters most. because this is dope. This is beautiful. But like none of us want to be heartbroken. You know, we're doing so dang well. You know what I'm
And
saying? And
you
my big thing is it's like you're all right. You're demonstrating this confidence in Purdy. Just I will completely respect it if you go out firing. If you have the same trust when it matters most, I'll respect it. If you're firing all bullets, but like if it does come to that big moment and you curl your tail and you kind of come back into your shell, then that's, I don't believe that'll happen this year. I think it just Kyle's demonstrating it's go time and I'm not playing no more games. He said something on the sideline. He said, something along the lines, "Hey, I went for it on that fourth because I feel like we should have got it on that 3rd and 1." That's what the hell I'm talking about, Shanahan. Go get it. Go take it. Sometimes, in this league, you have to take it. You have to go get it. You got to demonstrate, impose your will, that confidence, that heart. And he's doing it. Just when it comes to those hard times in the playoffs, keep doing that. I will respect you to the fullest if we lose, giving it our best shot. So I hope it happens, and I think it will.
Yep, and this is something I remember watching The Last Dance, and something in The Last Dance was the Bulls had their magical run 72-10, and they had when they went to the playoffs they had this shirt that said they don't mean a thing without the ring. So Shanahan, we've seen it the
Get
last
it.
2 seasons, right? We've seen it the last 2 seasons that you've been able to starting off slow, that you've been able to bounce back and have a really good second half of the season the last 2 seasons, and to get into the playoffs. But now once you're in the dance, can you finish? And especially in the crucialist moments. And I said this before, but you guys have at least witnessed some Super Bowls as Niners fans. The last 2 years, and even the 2019 Super Bowl, I mean, it's just been the crucialist moments. We just haven't been able to get it done. And that's just what sucks about the last 10 years of really being a Niners fan, and how much heartbreak Niners fans have to deal with. Obviously the Giants the playoffs, and that game with special teams. Ted Ginn was hurt. The Richard Sherman, famous interview with Richard Sherman. I'm the best corner in the game. The Ravens Super Bowl loss. The list goes on, and especially the NFC Championship game. The list goes on and on of just the Niners what ifs of if you just did this thing differently, or you ran a play differently, or you ran the ball out in this occasion, or you just did something differently. The Niners could have been sitting on 1 or 2 more championships, if not more. But it just, Shanahan, can you do it in the crucialist moments? And I just hope he's aggressive, and I 100% agree with you, Kels, that I just hope he's able to get it done this year. Because I want number 6. I want number 6, and Brock Purdy has been playing well enough for me to comfortably say that we can win number 6 with Brock Purdy. So I want number 6, Shanahan. Go out there and get it done.
Hey, I had a quick question for y'all. I like what John says here. He says, "What must Purdy do to solidify the QB1 spot for 2023 Super Bowl or bust NFC Championship?" What are y'all thoughts? Let me go first. If Purdy wins the Super Bowl, I mean, it's kind of hard to say he needs to compete for the QB1 spot next year with Trey, even though I know obviously we've invested a lot in Trey Lance, but I feel like, yeah, if we go to the Super Bowl with Purdy, but we don't win, I think Trey Lance still has a shot. But if Purdy and the Niners win the Super Bowl, I think he would be the favorite to be that QB1, next year. Now, if we go to the playoffs, obviously we're going to the playoffs, we lose an NFC Championship game or whatever, I think Trey Lance still has a shot. But part of me feels like Purdy's going to have to be like twice as good as Trey in training camp. That might sound crazy, but we know Shanahan has an ego. Doesn't like to admit when he's wrong, especially on drafting a player. I think they're going to give it to Trey if it's even, right? Now, if Trey struggles in the first month of the season, I think he could have a short leash, and I think then Purdy will be inserted. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. Great question by John. I'm just curious on what you guys' thoughts are.
What up, my man John? My 707 brother right here. Good stuff for coming through like always.
You want to go, Celts? You want to go, Celts?
Yeah, I'll take it, man. I think there's a few different layers to it. I feel like it's not even like if we win the Super Bowl, it's his no matter what. I feel like it's what Purdy does
Mm.
in the playoffs. And one of the legs up that Purdy has versus Lance right now is experience. And what I mean by experience is just that's why he's so poised. That's why he's so comfortable. That's why he's doing what he's doing. And I almost feel the opposite. I almost feel like Trey's gonna almost have to take it from Purdy in a way, depending on how the season pans out, how the rest of the way goes. You know, if Purdy starts to suck, and it's like, which almost seems hard for him to do, just because it just seems like I've said a few times, seems like he could duplicate this and replicate it. It's an amazing problem to have. You know, I feel like Trey Lance can still be great. I feel like he still will be great. I feel like his ceiling is still tremendous. I feel like there's stuff that Trey Lance can do that Jimmy and Brock Purdy cannot do. And at the same time, what Purdy is doing is something we haven't seen a 49er quarterback do in a long time. So it's a great debate. It's a great situation for us to have Brock and Trey. You know, assuming that Jimmy Garoppolo is gone. We've thought, you know, we all could have put our money that he was gone last year, and it's looking like he should be this year. I mean, just money talks, right? And look how much Trey is worth. Look how much Purdy is worth, and just do the math. It should be Trey and Purdy. It's going to be a hell of a battle. I feel like it's just going to be a battle. I don't feel like it's going to be given to Brock or given to Trey, no matter what the outcome of the year is. But yeah, man, it's I'm way more excited about this being Brock and Trey than I am about Jimmy, and that's just me personally. Um, yeah, man. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, if Purdy goes out and wins the Super Bowl, right? Hypothetically, in the realms of possibilities, if Purdy goes out, if Celtics pray right now, if he goes out and does that and he continues to play well and he continues to do what he's been doing in the regular season the last couple of games, and the Niners do end up winning a Super Bowl, I would say Purdy definitely has the edge going into camp. And I would let both of these guys compete, in training camp and give them both equal opportunities because obviously, Purdy, based off what we've seen so far, and hopefully based off what we'll see in the playoffs, which is hopefully good performances from Purdy throughout the playoffs. If Purdy can go out and do that, I think Purdy deserves an opportunity to fight for the starting job. So I would say Purdy, going into training camp, if he does win a Super Bowl, he definitely should have the edge going into training camp. But I will let both these quarterbacks have, an equal opportunity to go out and get the starting job. Obviously, because Trey Lance, you gave up so much to get Trey Lance. And then Brock Purdy, your 7th-round pick, but he's shown you that he's capable of leading your offense and executing this offense at a high level so far in the games that we've seen him do, in the games that we've seen him play. So I would give both these guys an equal opportunity to fight for the job. And whoever comes out, and has a better, training camp, they get a start week 1. And if Brock Purdy goes in as a starter week 1 and he struggles, the first couple of games, the Niners aren't winning football games, then you put in the switch for Trey Lance. Or if Brock Purdy gets hurt, then you put in Trey Lance. If Trey Lance gets hurt or he's struggling and he's your starting quarterback week 1 and he's struggling, then you have Brock Purdy on the bench that you can come in and you can one of these quarterbacks hopefully can execute your offense and win you football games. So I would let both of these guys compete for the job in the upcoming offseason.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Hey, I just wanted to also give some props to TDP. For coming in and being able to do his thing. I don't know if that was by design or if it was Mason who got banged up on the very first play on special teams. I haven't heard any details on that so far. And then another guy, we got TDP, who showed, I just enjoy it. I enjoy it, and I don't immediately do the comparison. Well, he got 5, Mason was getting 5 yards of carry. TDP was, hey, man, it was a welcome sight. I love to see it. Double R, man, Ray, man, he took off on the man, Double R, scream if you hear me, but hey, man, if you need me, man, I can't even do it right now, but Yeah, man, I started going back to the old Rich for a minute, but Richie Rich out here in Oakland, a dope rapper. If y'all don't know him, y'all should listen to him. Yeah, man, he's super dope. But anyways, yeah, man, he hit the jet sweep, and that man was gone, man. I just love to see that, and you know, hey, man, he got it done. So if y'all have anything to say, and then Kinlaw was another dude who I seen come on at first, and he looked like he was doing all right. Then I didn't see him for a while, but then I think I seen him come back. So, I haven't. I only went back and rewatched it one time, but that was one guy I wasn't paying attention to a lot. But props to Kinlaw, TDP, Double R. If you want to say anything about those three guys,
Ab-
and just throw in there
Absolutely.
and
It was
Jawan Jennings, man, Jawan
JJ.
Jennings, man. Hey, I know he had the drop. It went to the pick on Purdy. Hey, it's all good. He's still a dog. He makes some tough blocks, stuff that don't pop up on the stats. So if you got some stuff you want to say about those few guys right there, I'd love to hear it.
Absolutely, man. It was good to see TDP out there. Did he have any big runs? No, but it was just good to see him out there. Let's be real, he hasn't gotten a lot of run this season. I think that was only his fourth or fifth game. So I think that was his highest carry since I think the first time we played Seattle. So it was good to see TDP out there. As you mentioned, Jordan Mason got hurt on the kickoff. So I don't know if Jordan Mason would have been, if those were his carries that TDP got or vice versa, but it was good to see TDP out there. And it looked like Jordan Mason's injury wasn't serious, so he should be back next week. And, I think against the Raiders, we should definitely use CMC less and have Mason and TDP carry the load a little bit. I think that would be a wise decision. Kinlaw, I think he was on a snap count. I think he only played about 16 snaps. And I think Kinlaw did say to Shanahan during the game, like, hey, I feel good. I want to go back in. But clearly the 49ers are, concerned about Kinlaw's health. And it's still a long season, and they want him to be able to perform, for multiple games in a row and not just one game and done. So, good to see Kinlaw out there. I think he was a part of that
Yeah.
stop on 4th and goal. And that's his job. Plug up the middle, stop the run, and he did that. Good to see Ray McCloud out there. Obviously, we know he performs in special teams. He hasn't had that touchdown yet on special teams, but he's at least getting 15, 20 yards a pop on punt returns and things like that. So that adds up. But yeah, man, he looked like he was shot out of a cannon on that play. I think he went for like 71 yards. So it was good to see Ray make that play. He doesn't really get his number called that often on offensive plays. So to see him get his number called, take it to the house for a huge touchdown. I mean, yeah, I'm happy for Ray, man. I wish we could give him the ball more often, because he can, create explosive plays like that. And especially with Debo being out, you're going to need someone else to, step up. And obviously we know Kittle's there, CMC, the IQ show, but it's also good to see Ray out there as well, man.
Absolutely. If you just wanted to touch on anybody that stood out to you, Amin, just as far as Kinlaw, TDP, even Gray had a few. He was in there a little bit, and now I'm thinking of even Willie Snead on that block to help open up for Ray on there, and then McGlinchey I think had a nice block right there. So, and that was just dope to see. You see CMC running down the field behind Ray, doing the arm swing. Just yeah, man, that was a any guys that might not normally be talked about. Was there anybody we left out? Me.
I mean, obviously, TDP saw him get involved in this game. Part of that was because Jordan Mason got hurt. And obviously, we've seen the Niners draft third round running backs last year as well, and the year before that with Trey Sermon. And you didn't really get to see Trey Sermon at all, except for when Elijah Mitchell got hurt and Mostert got hurt. But then finally, and the same thing kind of happened yesterday with Jordan Mason gets hurt. You kind of saw TDP get, more touches. And, you know, obviously you saw TDP yesterday, and then another one would be Ray McCloud, that 71-yard touchdown, took it to the house, turned on the Jets, the speed. I mean, that obviously was nice to see. You don't really see his name getting called too much, offensively, and sometimes you might see him, in the slot or line up on the outside, but you don't really see the ball getting thrown to him. But it was nice to see TDP, having an offensive touchdown like that. I mean not TDP, I mean Ray McLeod. So it was nice to see that from Ray McLeod.
Hey, so did y'all see Brock and Debo on Christmas at the Warriors game? Did you guys see that at all?
Warriors game was lit yesterday.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, so it got me thinking, because I pay attention. I pay attention to details and just the way the world is nowadays. And so I just got to thinking, man, anytime I've ever seen 49ers in public, it seems like it's always the click, whether it's McGlinchey, Kyle Juszczyk,
Kittle.
CMC and Garoppolo together and Kittle. Or then on the flip side, there's been a few times where it's Trey, Ayuk, and Debo, or Debo and Ayuk. And I was trying to go through my memory and my history. Is this has Jimmy and Debo, or Jimmy and Ayuk, or Jimmy and anyone outside of, McGlinchey and his click group that he got? Have we ever publicly seen them kick it together? Like, from my memory, I couldn't remember any time. So when I seen Brock and Debo, that was one of my first thoughts. Like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is kind of dope. This is Mr. Irrelevant kicking it with arguably the number one dude on the 49ers. I like this, and I will touch on the race thing because it's just the way of the world. So I'm gonna just say that was dope to see it in that kind of a light as well. I'm like, hey, this is what the hell I'm talking about. Whoever set it up, whether it was both of them, Debo, I don't care how it happened. We seen it, I seen it, and it's on Christmas Day. I mean, they could have chose to spend time however they wanted to, and they, it was our number one, one of our best offensive weapons, our heart and soul last year, Debo, with the new Hollywood, kind of pop star right now in Brock Purdy, man. So I just thought that was hella cool. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Am I looking at it way too hard, or am I kind of tripping myself out?
I would say that I was surprised to see, Brock with Debo. I think we've seen Debo at Warriors
Especially on
games
Christmas. Can
before.
I just add?
Yeah.
I just add on Christmas? Right, like
Yeah.
on Christmas Day when you're, usually most of the guys are out with their families. On Christmas at the Warriors game, just those two kicking it. The Warriors. Now, I will say something to add up to that point before you could go, Jay. Is that I know one thing for sure though. Brock Purdy might have not gotten as much, attention from the cheerleaders as Jimmy Garoppolo is getting the time when he went to the Warriors game. Jimmy went to the Warriors game. There was like 7 cheerleaders that wanted high fives from, Jimmy Garoppolo that stopped by to say what's up to Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think Brock Purdy might have. I don't think he got as much. That's all I'm gonna say on Christmas.
Hey, they must not know about BCB, man. Hey, one thing I do want to throw something else. My cousin went to the 49er game, and he said the chants, because I heard a little bit of the chants of the Purdy on national
Broadcast.
television.
Yeah.
But he said, "Oh no, the BCB chants were real. The BCB chants were going hard," and I just think it's from a funny type. I don't know, just looking at it from my personality. Like, could you imagine just sitting there with 60,000 grown men just screaming BCB? This shit's something out of a movie. Real talk, man. It's hella cool, man. So, yeah, man.
Hey, but it was good to see them there. I was gonna say that usually Debo is with Ayuk on the court side or whatever. So yeah, it's good to see them both there. Interesting. I wonder. I don't know. Does Debo have season tickets to the Warriors game, or he just calls up? He has someone that calls up says, "Hey, I want seats on the floor tonight." I wonder how that goes, but I'm sure Debo flipped that bill.
Debo's balling, man. He got the bag, man.
Exactly.
He's kicking it with little baby, man. I'm sure he's got he's got a few things in the works. I'm pretty sure, all right, man. So I think we have kind of went over, we're hitting close to an hour. I don't know how you guys are doing on times. I got freaking 1,000 topics and we ain't going to get to them all. Congratulations to the Pro Bowlers. Y'all just woke up a giant in Greenlaw, CMC and CMC. Hey, we got the Raiders game coming up. If you guys want to briefly talk about that, we can. And then we're going to get into some of these picks. And yeah, man. So if you want to talk about the 49ers Raiders, man, shoot for it, my man Jay.
the 49ers and Raiders rivalry renewed. That's going to be an interesting game up in Vegas. Obviously, the Raiders, they're not having the season that they envisioned at the beginning of the year. Obviously, they got a new regime there, new head coach, new general manager. For some reason, his name is escaping me, but he came from the Patriots. The head coach.
McDaniels, I believe Josh. I
Yeah,
think it's
exactly.
Josh.
Josh McDaniels,
Josh
exactly. So
McDaniels.
they're not having the season they have, but there's no doubt that that Raiders team is talented on both sides of the ball. But they just haven't really been able to. They just haven't been able to win games. Like last week, they were up in most of the game, but the offense only scored. I think it was like 13 points, and of course the other team has the ball. They score a touchdown, and then the other team wins the game. So they just haven't been able to get that winning formula yet. But there's no doubt they're a talented team. And obviously we know Niners and Raiders used to play in the Bay. It was the Battle of the Bay. I don't know if the players really cared, but it seemed like the fans definitely did. You had Oakland, San Francisco. So I don't think that element is still there, but because now the Raiders are in Vegas, of course. But I'm looking forward to the game. I think it's going to be a very good game. Two talented teams. And obviously I think the 49ers are going to win, but it's going to be an interesting game for sure.
It's been a long time before you go. I did want to throw this up because I've been meaning to for the past few weeks and I haven't. But before we let Amin and myself talk about the next game, I wanted to throw on a little bit or this little quick little video about heading up to the next game.
Well, we're moving on up to the next game. Hey.
Yeah. That's my sister Pico right there, man. She threw that down for me. Yeah, man. She hooked that up for me, man. I love it, man. I came up with the idea, but gotta put a little comedy, man. Gotta put a little sauce on it sometimes. And
Absolutely.
so yeah, man. I'm gonna just make mine quick, short, and simple. I think the fans still view this as that. And I think the energy and the vibe of the fans, it's almost like the players have no choice. They're gonna feel those vibes, they're gonna feel those energies, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. It is still the hardworking men for gold versus the Raiders who steal silver. And I always look at that like that's just a cheap way to do it, man. How you gonna steal silver when you could work for gold, man? It's like, come to hey, there is still some fire there. I guarantee it. And whether you're 3-9 or 11-4, we are coming for it. I feel like I said, I feel like Shanahan is viewing this stuff like, dude, we are going all gas every game. I don't care. I've been doing it the past how many ever games. If we get injured, we get injured. It's all gas, no breaks. We're coming to take it, and that's how I view it. So get ready, Raiders, because we coming to take it.
Someone put in the chat, this game matters a lot for Greg Papa. Do it for Greg Papa. Get it done for Greg Papa. No, I mean this is still a rivalry game for me. This was a game that when I found out that they're playing the Raiders, I marked this game on my calendar. I've mentioned this on streams before, but half of my family's full of Niners fans, half my family's full of Raiders fans. So you already know this is a rivalry game for
Oh
me.
yeah.
This game matters, all right? This game matters. We want those bragging rights, all right? You want to show up to those family gatherings and family functions. You want to be like, my team beat your team. What you gonna say? Even though we have the better record, I already know if the Raiders beat us on Sunday, like my family members, they'll be like, "What happened? The Raiders beat you guys." Yada yada yada. Even though we had the better record.
This is their Super Bowl. This is the Raiders Super Bowl right
This
here.
is their Super Bowl, but this is definitely a rivalry game. The two talented teams. You look at the Raiders, obviously aren't having particularly the best season. They've been up in a lot of games. But they just haven't been able to finish off the games. I've kind of been thinking the last couple of weeks, what's up with Devontae Adams? If I'm Devontae Adams, leaving Aaron Rodgers, coming to your college or high school quarterback and Derek Carr, and then, for you guys to be struggling so badly offensively, I mean, I wonder what's going on through Devontae Adams' mind right now. But two talented teams. Obviously, I want the Niners to win, and obviously, I don't think the rivalry is as big compared to when the Raiders were in Oakland and we were obviously still in the Bay and they were in Oakland. But to me, this is still a rivalry game. Whether Vegas, whether the Raiders are in Las Vegas, Antarctica, Hawaii, I don't care. Whenever we're playing the Raiders, this game matters to me. So this game is definitely. I'm gonna be sitting there. I'm gonna be watching it. And you already know, if my Niners win, my family members are gonna getting a nice pleasant text from me after the game.
Real talk, man. Hey, well said. Because yeah, man, it just feels like it matters regardless, man. You know, a lot of people been looking forward to, and it's going to be on New Year's Day, man. Hopefully, our 49ers are smart and just kind of like Brock Purdy's been telling the offensive lineman, like he said, he's like, nah, I can't go play poker. I need to go study. Hopefully, they have a chill night, don't do too much, and come out on fire and handle freaking business. Yeah, man. So we are going to did you oh yeah, all right. We all touched on the Raiders lightweight. Man, so we are going to hop into some game predictions, man. Where we at? Where we at? So the standings are Amin has taken a lightweight, little commanding lead. So that's why I had to throw in a lot more games this week. Yeah, man. Hey, with the end of the season coming, hey, I said I would do it pretty soon here. The end of the season's coming. There's only 2 more weeks left. Who knows what we might do in the playoffs. But Amin is 11-2.
The champ is here. The
the
champ is in the building.
Hey, it's not over yet. Don't pull a 2019 Kyle. Dang, getting on my own team. But anyways, hey, we are we're up, or we're all knotted at 8-5. So we're gonna just get straight into it. I haven't even thought about none of them. I'm gonna just shoot straight from the hip. We could do rapid fire if y'all want to. We got the Saints and the Eagles. Who you got, Jay?
Saints and Eagles. Eagles.
Lost so many games this week. This could potentially bring me back. I looked at all the games Kelts posted. I'm like, we got a lot of games. What's up with that, Kel?
Are they gonna have Hurts again? I almost feel
they
like
they look solid with Minshew.
They look solid.
I know. I know they do. You know what, man? 49ers are coming for the first seed. I'm taking the Saints. I'm taking the Saints. Hey, man, if I lose, I'm gonna lose badly. But if I'm gonna win, it's gonna be on freaking some shots. All right, we got the Dolphins and the Patriots. Who you got, Amin?
Oh, can we play a what if situation here if Tua plays or if Tua doesn't play? Because Tua with the concussion protocol, Tua,
he ain't gonna play.
He probably ain't gonna play. I'm gonna take the Patriots. What we've seen so far.
In the cold at New England,
especially if Tua doesn't play, I gotta go to the Patriots.
I'm going with the Patriots. I'm sure it's gonna be minus 55 over there in Foxborough. And hey, Finns like the warm weather. They don't really like. I don't see any Dolphins in the snow. So I'm taking the Patriots and Belichick.
Real talk. Hey, I got the Patriots as well for all those reasons. At home, no Tua, all of it. All right, we got the Cowboys and the Texans. Here, hey, I'll just go ahead and start it off. I've been picking the Titans, or I said Texans, excuse me. I've been picking the Titans a lot this year, and it feels like every time I do, or they made a couple of wins, and then they just started kind of losing when I would pick them. But I feel like they're gonna. Man, I just have an underdog feeling this.
They don't have Ryan Tannehill. Just FYI, he's out. I think for the whole entire year.
So they're gonna go with Willis.
You have Willis, who threw 2 interceptions against the Texans. But don't let that decipher if you want to go and pick the Titans. Do you? You do you.
Who was it? Who did they get whooped by? The Vikings?
They got whooped by the Vikings. They
got whooped by the Texans. Is a whole different breed.
They got whooped by the Texans.
I feel like the Cowboys are an up and down team, and you never know what you're gonna get. And I'm gonna just take the Texans, man. I'm going underdog. I'm going full throttle underdogs, man. I'm either gonna be in last or first. So, who you got, Jay?
Man, I think the Cowboys had an emotional win versus, their division rival and the Eagles. I think it's going to be a letdown for them, and I'm gonna take the Titans at home with Derrick Henry running all over them because the Cowboys aren't really good at stopping the run. So I'm gonna go with Titans and Derrick Henry.
Give me the Cowboys. This is an easy one, especially after what I saw from Malik Willis against the Texans. Like 2 interceptions against the Texans, didn't like complete around 50%, something around his passes. Give me the Cowboys. This is an easy one.
Yeah, burrito, please. Yeah, I'm voting for the burritos, man. My daughter just asked me real quick. You want nachos or burrito? All right, man. We got the Jets and the Seahawks. Hey, I did say it a few weeks back. I don't know if you guys remember, but I was like, right when I think we were tied up, I was like, watch the Seahawks. They will fall to earth, and we're gonna go on a run. And I hate even saying it like that. It's like, man, look, I was right. No. Hey, but it happened. No, I'm glad it happened. The Seahawks, man, hey, they're showing their true colors. 49ers rose up, man. Faithful, rise up. Hey, but in this game, yay, let's get it. Let's go. Hey, in this game, I'm going to take the Seahawks at home. Yeah, man, who you got? Amin.
Seahawks.
Complete sweep. I got the Seahawks.
Holy crap, man. We all took the Seahawks. Who would have thought? Who would have dunked it? All right, man. We got the Panthers, and I think a lot of these games have playoff implications. I mean, man, look, I think it's the Panthers, Bucks, and Saints. If I haven't really looked at the standings, but I think they're all within a game or two. So I think it's going to come down to the if I'm right. But anyways, on this one, man, hey, Brady might go out. Brady might be having an early summer, man. He could possibly have an early summer with his new girlfriend and just, you know what I'm saying? Take a chill pill, enjoy the summer. I don't know. Hey, has he ever missed the playoffs? Like, I'm kind of trying to think here. You know, hey, it might be vacation time for Tommy Boy, so I'm going to take the Panthers.
Give me the Buccaneers.
Man, I mean, you mentioned the NFC South standings. The Buccaneers are 7-8. The Panthers are 6-9. Also, the Saints are 6-9. So this game could potentially decide the division winner. Who is the Panthers starting quarterback? I don't even know.
Is it Darnold or is it Darnold? Or
no, it's Darnold. Yeah, it's Darnold, right?
Let's see, Darnold or TB12. I'm taking TB12.
Yeah, same.
And the Bucks.
Yep.
All right, man. We got the Vikings and the Packers. And these are some implications, with the 49ers right here. Hey, man, it looked like the Packers were going to, fold like a cheap tent versus, who was it? Versus Tua. Tua and the Dolphins came out hot. But the Packers, they came back and handled business in Wisconsin, in the cold. Vikings, rival game. Man, this might be one of the I'm supposed to be smart about it and pick and choose my underdogs wisely, but I ain't doing that tonight, man. I'm just going full throttle with it. I'm taking the Pack.
I want the Packers to win, but I'm gonna go with the Vikings. I'll be honest with you, lad. Like I saw that game. Part of it was just Tua was just horrible in that game. Like he was missing throws left and right. After he hurt himself and had the concussion, he was pretty much throwing the ball to the Packers defenders, and there was this meme that came out, frick it, the Packers defenders down there somewhere, and Tua was just throwing footballs to the opposing team. So I'm gonna go with the Vikings on this one. I think the Vikings will get it done, but obviously I want the Packers to win.
Man, I thought Tua was like the most accurate quarterback. What happened to that?
Sorry, Emmanuel Acho was wrong.
They played the Niners.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, man, that Packers and Finns game, that was probably the best game this past weekend. At least the best, nationally televised game. Yeah. And I was surprised that the Packers won. Now you have the Vikings going to the frozen tundra. The Vikings are pretty good at home, on the road in Green Bay. I mean, do you really believe in Kirk Cousins? I know the game is not a primetime game, but I think I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in this game.
Same, man. Yeah, they're bound to Yeah, I don't know, man. Something about no matter how good the Vikings are, they are really good, man. It just
Defense
I
is
don't know.
awesome.
Yeah, it's just something about them. But the Bills and the Bengals,
Ooh.
man,
Hot
We
diggity
got
insist.
dog.
some heavy hitters, some heavy hitters in this matchup.
This is just looking at it, I almost felt like Bay Area Baller just like came in somehow, some way, and had his little. When we do the games, he'll have some little effects of a cat coming through or something. And I almost seen something like that with the Bengals. So I'm taking the Bengals, man. I'm shout out Baller, man.
I'm
Bills
going with the
at
Bills.
Bengals, Monday Night Football prime time. This is definitely going to be the best game of the week. I predict a high scoring game, but I'm gonna take Cincinnati because Allen, he's great, but the guy turns the ball over a lot to me. And the Bengals defense is actually pretty good, so I'm gonna take Cincinnati. Close win.
I'm gonna take the Bills. I mean, I feel like I'm the only one that's taking, so y'all are taking some of the underdogs. I'm going with the safe pick. I'm going with the Bills. Yes, Allen does turn the ball over,
Hey,
but I
is
think
are
Allen also.
are the Bills or I mean are the Bengals underdogs in this one?
They're probably favored, right?
I don't know
I
if they're
would.
favored. I think it'd be close. I think it'd be a close.
Hey, they're one
It
of
might
the
be like
hottest
3.5
teams.
or something.
Yeah, three and
Yeah,
a half or something like that.
Let's
I
see.
wouldn't
Let me
doubt it.
look it up. Bills versus Bengals odds. Let's see.
Where we at? All right, so you got
Oh,
the Bills.
the Bengals are. I think the Bengals are 1 point. No, well, it depends on where you look, but it looks like the Bills are 1 point favorite.
Favorites.
So
It'll be close. We already know that much.
yeah, it's gonna be super close. Yeah,
Absolutely. It's gonna be that's gonna be a slugfest right there. All right, man.
absolutely.
Hey, is there anything that we did not talk about? If you guys got anything on your guys' mind, I just want to acknowledge the chat real quick.
What's
Just say,
good?
hey, yes, sir. Hey, hit it up, man. All the what's goods. Faithful, rise up. Yee, let's get it. Hey, man. We are, man. Hey, I'll just take it off with some of the final things I want to talk about. We're in beautiful times right now as 49er fans. Like I said earlier in the stream, 9 straight would be the most that Kyle Shanahan has ever had, and the fourth most that the 49ers have had in their franchise history. I mean, we're talking about 1991 and 92. I know we didn't win the Super Bowl that year, but then we're talking about the 84 team, the 81 team, 89 teams. We're talking about, some of the best seasons in 49er history that we're kind of in the middle of right now. So I just think it's absolutely amazing. We should all be juiced up. It's easy to get wrapped up into, oh my God, Hufunga, he missed on yada yada, this, that, and other. And it is true. Hopefully those things don't come back to haunt us, but you're never going to get a perfect NFL team. I
Hey,
hope
Kels, we
everybody
got a super chat. We got a super chat. Just
I hope everybody enjoys it as much as I do. We got our man, 49er First Takes, Aaron in the building with the super chat with that. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that's to my man Jay in the Bay because I'm pretty sure Amin and myself are not monetized yet. But yeah, man, you could go ahead and take it off from there, my man Jay. What up, Aaron? Yee.
What's good? Aaron says lots of layers to this, and also what's good to everyone in the chat that came through tonight just to say what's up. Whether you're watching on Jay in the Bay, Kels Chronos, Amin the Dream, Straight Out of the Bay YouTube channel. Make sure you you subscribe to all of us. We appreciate all the support, and I'm looking forward to next Monday night. Hopefully, it'll be a victory Monday for the 49ers. And also, we're coming off of a hell of a game, much better than the game that was on a few hours ago. That was a terrible game. But I'm sure the next one, Bills and Bengals, is going to be much better. Looking forward to meeting with you guys. Hopefully, BayAreaBaller is doing better, and he'll be with us next week as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Any final words, my man Amin?
I won't be here next week, but I already know the crew will be holding it down. I'm gonna be in Cancun next week, so I won't be here. But hopefully the Niners get a W. Hopefully it's 9 in a row, and I want this one against the Raiders. This is the game that I want. I marked it on my calendar. Get it done, Niners. Get it done. Get it 9 in a row.
Absolutely. Hey, another thing, God, it slipped my mind. You mentioned something really good a while back, Amin. But hey, man, I'll just leave it for another show. But yeah, man, we are in some great times as Niner fans.
One more super chat. One more super chat, Coach.
Oh, another one. Oh, hot. I almost want to do it for Jay in the Bay. Hot diggity dog. Oh man. Hey, hold on.
I like your impression, man. Huge shout out to Corey Davis, man. Peace and blessings to you. Corey Davis says he is having surgery tomorrow. So, sending well wishes to you and your recovery and your surgery, man. And man, prayers up. Absolutely.
Prayers, man. I hope it goes well.
Yeah, real talk, KD. Hey man, yeah, prayers, and then it makes me want to preach lightweight just on. I can only imagine, man. I've never really had surgery or nothing like that, so. And I hate the doctors, but if there's any way you could just have positive thoughts and all those good things, man. Yeah, prayers to you, real talk, KD.
Absolutely.
And I know though, I know everybody up in here will probably be shooting you that same kind of positive energy, real talk. We got cooking smoke sports in the house. I haven't seen you in a while. Good stuff for coming through, my man. He said, "What up, Kel? It's Raider Week. Let's get it. Let's go." I also seen someone else up in here, Awesomeness Sports. I don't know if you guys know who that is. I don't know if that's okay.
I've seen her before.
Okay.
She likes the Washington Commanders, so appreciate
The
her.
Commanders.
All right, y'all. Hey, well, y'all stay up, y'all stay blessed, y'all stay faithful. Hey, like Cowboy Angel says, whether you're a believer or not believer, man, hey, God is good, man. I mean, just look at the letters. It basically says good, You flip it the other way, it says dog. The 49ers got a gang of dogs. This is the 49ers Straight Out of the Bay crew. We will be here every Monday night after Monday Night Football. Hey, you can hit up my link, whether you're on Jay's channel, the Straight Out of the Bay channel, or my channel. I got all the links in the description, even Bay Area Ballers. And hey, man, expect to see us here every Monday night. We're gonna try to run it on everybody's channel. Moving forward, so you guys don't gotta look and search for it and all that. So hey, man, we're gonna keep it lit. Y'all keep it lit. And we are going to leave y'all, if I could find a little video for y'all. You might need to protect your ears, but I'm going to leave y'all with this. Peace. Yay.
Peace.